Good morning and welcome to Abona, the 103.5 FM. Today, the 28th day of November 2023. Today is Tuesday and the time is 2 minutes past the hour of 7. It's time for newspaper headlines on Abona, the 103.5 FM. This morning, we are going to take you through the news making headlines on Nigerian newspapers. But before we do that, let's go for a short break. When we come back, we'll continue on the stories making the headlines. Please stay with us.
Do you know that you have the right to quality broadcasting? The National Broadcasting Commission says any person, group of persons, or organization aggrieved by the content of a broadcast or the conduct of a broadcast station may lodge a complaint to the station and all right to the Director General, National Broadcasting Commission, number 20, Ibrahim Taiwo Street, Asokoro, Abuja, or send a mail via info@nbc.gov.ng. Please ensure that the complaint includes name of the broadcast station, title of the program, date and time of broadcast, and essence of the complaint. Also, remember to include your name, address, telephone number, email, and append your signature. Note that a complaint must reach the NBC within 14 days of the queried broadcast. NBC, your right to quality broadcasting.
You're welcome back to newspaper headlines on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. This morning, we are going to take you through the news, making the headlines on the Guardian newspaper, Leadership, Vanguard, Punch, Sun, Daily Post, The Nation. This day, and if time permits, we're also going to take a look at the Nigerian Tribune. Remember that you can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 080-9666-1035. You can as well join us on Facebook as we are live at Ebonade 103.5 FM. Drop a comment on the comment section of the live video. You can equally stream us online via mixlr.com/gistfm. I am Martin. Let's get started with the Guardian newspaper this morning. Federal government proceeds with unambitious budget, proposes 27.5 trillion naira next year. At the Guardian anniversary lecture book presentation today, stakeholders discuss federalism. Chief Justice of Nigeria seeks amendment for termination of most cases at appeal court, despite warning protests in Kanu over Court of Appeal ruling. Lukman warns Fubara of new plans to undermine him. If anything happens to INEC office, hold SDP responsible, says APC. 5G reaches 40% of world's 8 billion people as Nigeria pushes for more penetration. Reps panel commences full probe of COVID-19 intervention fund. Non-governmental organization honors the Guardian with Automobile Industry Award. Investigation reveals Saudi Arabia's plan to keep countries dependent on oil. Accidents. Diseases kill 3 million persons yearly at workplace. Gateway Cargo Airport, Ogun. Aviation Ministry. Other stakeholders meet today on concessioning. Gateway Cargo Airport, Ogun. Aviation Ministry. Other stakeholders meet today on concessioning. Chaibu declares for Edo Guba race, seeks support. Adebutu, hopeful of victory at Supreme Court. Group wants Enugu water facilities maintained. FCT indigenous fault land allocation alleged 5 million naira payment of C of O. Appeal court. Federal government to develop integrated national electricity policy. Federal government to unveil blueprint for digital switchover rollout. Ebonyi Cross River hold talks as federal government settles dispute. Tinubu reappoints Kyari as NMPCL GCEO. First stack demolitions. Who laments federal government's failure to protect citizens. Use Singapore model to develop Nigeria. World Bank consultants. Others tells federal government. Lagos MWAN seek members support to tackle women, children's health challenges. Center revs up efforts to end violence against women, urges support. Doherty calls for private investigator to examine Lagos finances. UBEC, Bimon's shortage of teachers, 100 billion naira yearly funding. Group blames vacant stool for violence in Taraba. NIESB, Lagos branch 2023, MCPD holds December 6th. Attack on INEC, judiciary, undemocratic, says civil society organization. Nasima tax Delta government on infrastructure. UBEC sounds the alarm on national teacher shortage crisis. Federal $1.1 billion on rehabilitation of 6 sports. Sales rep ducked for alleged stealing employers 7.8 million naira. Digital switchover blueprint in the works, says Minister Idris. Court to continue hearing of Ogun school teacher rape case in February. Flight diversion. Kiyamo summons head of aviation over recurrent safety issues. Imo police confirm murder of traditional ruler. Ibu waits into cooking gas supply. Price hike challenges. Methane blast in Siberian mine kills 3. Federal government addresses public concerns on deplorable state of federal roads. FAAN warns against fake recruitment scams. KB police loses inspector to lone accident. Airline explains why flight en route to Abuja landed in Asaba. Castena to review free education policy, teacher recruitment process. New LASMA boss warns officials against corruption. Ex-PGFDG Lukman says Fubara at risk of emasculation with dissolution of Rivers APC ESCO. KSAPD enhances farmers' capacity on dry season techniques in Kanu. Center residents Lord Mba for enduring water scarcity in Enugu. 16 days of activism. WARDC urges government commitment to VAP Act implementation. Police, DSS neutralizes 3-man POS robbery gang in Enugu, Nigeria to get $134 million AFDB loan for stable food farmers. Federal government intervenes in supply, cooking gas price concerns. MBS, imperative of creating stronger, vibrant data system. Homeowners deploy scavengers to sites as FHA continues demolition. That's the much we can take from the Guardian newspaper this morning. And from the Guardian newspaper, we'll flip over to the leadership newspaper. Federal government okays 3 billion naira for scanners to stop manual search at airport. Fire raises Kaba Central Market. Ogun. Aviation Ministry meets on agro-cargo airport concessioning. National Drug Law Enforcement Agency destroys illicit drugs in Kanu. Jega seeks a review of 2022 Electoral Act. The politicization of judges. Jega seeks review of 2022 Electoral Act. The politicization of judges. Federal government okays $1 billion African Development Bank loan. 2 trillion naira borrowing limit for finance ministry. Supreme Court Judiciary Council begins screening of 22 justices today. FCTA to reclaim lands occupied by hoodlums. Zenith Bank signs a memorandum of understanding to establish subsidiary in France. Dangote plans a listing $20 billion refinery on Nigerian Stock Exchange. Gunmen kill 2 police officers, civilian in Imo. Federal government okays 27 trillion naira for 2024 budget, targets 18 trillion naira revenue. Biden apologizes over comments on Gaza killings. Protest rocks Kanu over appeal court judgment. Tinubu constitutes NMPCL board, retains Kyari. Kiamu raises red flags over Nigeria Air project. North Central Group alleges neglect of region, 6 federal government appointments. Prophet Fufeyin Ministry in Taraba visits Governor Abu. Tinubu appoints Akinyeru NMPCL board chair, retains Kyari as GCEO. Federal government's okays $1 billion African Development Bank loan. We've taken this. But still on the stories making the headlines on the leadership newspaper this morning. Federal government okays 3 billion naira for airport detection machines. Youth for Export. Zenab Foods Limited collaborates with NYSC for youth empowerment. Asaba diversion. Federal government summons all wet lease operators. Abiodun approves constituency projects for 236 councillors. Appeal court affirms Aliyu's election as Sokoto governor. Senator Ebeyong's Thanksgiving gala draws political heavyweights to Cross River. Police foil court initiation in Delta. Government kill 2 policemen, passers by in Imo. Federal government okays 27.5 trillion naira 2024 budget size. NEMA launches national contingency plan to tackle flood disaster. JAD Group denies sponsoring protests against Chevron meddling in host community affairs. Appeal court sacks Kaduna Assembly Speaker. Experts list foods to check prostate cancer, menopause pains. Tinubu to present proposed 2024 budget in few days. Abbas. Ochoala Nnadozie make CAF's final shortlist for African Women Best Player Award. Gaza, I am disappointed in myself, says Biden in apology to Muslim American leaders. Release of federal government palliatives. CRPP tells Obaseki. Oshoala, we've taken this. Oborowore, Delta APC trade wars over 77 billion naira legacy road projects. After Asaba incident, NCAA suspends United Nigerian Airlines wet lease planes. Tinubu didn't hand over Rivers APC structure to Wike. Okocha. MOUAU get to receive 10 billion naira take-off grant. Vice Chancellor. And applause ex-governors Atta Emmanuel for Akwa Ibom development. Stakeholders brainstorm to upscale wheat production in West Central Africa. Tinubu swears in 8 new permanent secretaries, presides over Federal Executive Council meeting. Association donates medical equipment to Cross River PHCs. Obey court order. Recognize me as APGA chairman. Njoko tells INEC. Emulate Liberia's election body. International Observers Group tells INEC. Others. Supreme Court to have full complements. Supreme Court to have full complement of 21 justices soon. CJN. Safety concerns. Aviation minister summons regulatory agency heads. Threatens sanctions. Association donates. We're taking this. Igbo Titi West, Labour Party's Amoka retains assembly seat. APC rejects timetable for council polls in Enugu. Kanu, stop impugning judiciary's integrity. Youth Coalition wants NMPP. Governor Aliyu directs renovation of ex-president Shagare's burnt house in Sokoto. That's the much we can take from the leadership newspaper this morning. And from the leadership newspaper, we'll flip over to Vanguard newspaper. Federal government jacks up 2024 budget to 27.5 trillion naira. Experts list impediments to foreign investment inflows in Nigeria. Access Bank, Asola to power SMEs, rural communities with eco-friendly energy solution. Banks are ready for recapitalization. CIBN. Justices fight back. We can't replace law with emotions. CJN. Why federal government's 1 trillion naira GDP projections may fail. Why federal government's $1 trillion GDP projections may fail. LCCI. Judicial decisions can affect FDI. CBN governor. Flight diversions. We will begin blacklisting of negligent airline regulators. Federal government. Judiciary not living above board. George Bokono, Akarele, Oshodi, others. Judiciary not living above board. George Bokono, Akarele, Oshodi, others. Obafemi Awolowo University student lands in hospital after ending hand washathon for Guinness World Records. Households others turn to biofuel as cost of cooking gas soars. Edo 2024, how I will transform Edo. Ugboro Oko, Labour Party governorship aspirant. Edo 2024, I am the homeboy Edo needs. Shaibu declares. Review Rex appointments is not too late. Jega tells Tinubu. Use Plateau Guba case to affirm superiority over court appeal. Bawala tells Supreme Court. Use Plateau Guba case to affirm superiority over court appeal. Bawala tells Supreme Court. I'm still in shock. 26-year-old promise battle stroke after childbirth. Okeobe community, how abandoned Lagos road makes students pass through hell to school. Tears, laughter on Gaza beach as children get from war. Appeal, Kanu police arraign 7 protesters. Abia church cancels wedding over pregnant bride. Households others turn to biofuel as cost of cooking gas soars. Prosecutors allege rapper Young Thug led gangs as trial begins. Appeal court sacks Kaduna speaker. Others will run in 5 polling units. More Nigerians opt for loans to make ends meet. I will carry everyone along, says Ayedatiwa Ondo Deputy Governor. 6 governors scale through second judicial hurdle. Federal government jacks up 2024 budget to 27.5 trillion naira. Experts list impediment to foreign investment inflows in Nigeria. Tinubu presents 2024 budget. Wednesday, House states, local governments shared 8.8 trillion naira NEITI, Access Bank, Asola, to power SMEs, rural communities with eco-friendly energy solution. While federal government's $1 trillion GDP projections may fail, LCCI. That's the much we can take from the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And from the Vanguard newspaper, we'll flip over to the Punch newspaper. Tinubu will make a decision in Nigeria Air, says Kiyamo. Fresh protest rocks Kanu over appeal court judgment. Boronu villagers jubilate over Boko Haram commanders killing. Lagos state government orders removal of buildings on road setbacks. Judges shouldn't determine poll winners, but they judge. 433 foreign trained doctors fail MDCN qualifying exam. Committee unveils Alaba Lawasen's burial plans. TB spread in Brunu, worrisome, says World Health Organization. TB spread in Brunu, worrisome, says World Health Organization. Reps begin 183.9 billion naira COVID-19 fund mismanagement probe. Nigerian Security Civil Defense Corps sets stolen crude ablaze in Imo. Lagos Task Force crushes 1,500 seized motorcycles. Stakeholders engagement key to Niger Delta development. Obuku. Tinubu names Akinyeleru. NMPC share reappoints Kyari CEO. And best to succeed Obaseki. Chaibu declares. Son gets staff of office December 16th. Court halts removal. COVID-19 reduced primary school teachers by 29%. UBEC. United Nations. US hail Israel-Hamas ceasefire extension. Ondo lawmakers meet today. May declare Ayedatiwa acting governor. Tinubu swears in 8 permanent secretaries. Agency recruits campus ambassadors against sexual violence. Sierra Leone hunts soldiers behind barrack invasion. Lifts curfew. Journalists unveil memo. Navy ends 3-day sea inspection to flush out maritime criminals. Oshime, keen on Chelsea move. Consumer Protection Agency declares Erisco tomato paste fit for consumption. Victims of Lagos demolition seek compensation. 2023 elections credible in some aspects. Jega, how to avoid financial losses. ATM fraud. EFCC. ECOWAS, Nigerian delegations pay President Bayo of Sierra Leone solidarity visit. Federal government approves 3.23 billion naira scanners for Abuja Airport. Others, reps probe mismanagement of COVID-19 funds. Ogun community laments lack of public school. That's the much we can take from the Punch newspaper this morning. From the Punch newspaper, we'll flip over to the Sun newspaper. War over judiciary. Edo Guba. Chaibu declares intention to contest. Collapse of local government areas putting pressure on lawmakers. Wajabiamila. Alaba market demolition. IPOB calls on Ahanese, Southeast governors, others to intervene. The Sun Foundation backs double recognition at 2023 CSR Awards. Drainage setbacks. Lagos issues 7-day ultimatum to owners of structures along Ekota River. Washington. Obafemi Awolowo University student stops after 58 hours. Anambra monarch Onyido applauds Soludo for road rehabilitation, renaming airport after Chinua Achebe. Akuta. God sent to Shippers Council will perform wonders. Reps Deputy Spokesman, Access Bank Partners, A Solar to power up Nigerian small medium enterprises and rural communities with eco-friendly energy solutions. Uchenna Victor Moses, a visionary leader in catalyst for change irrespective of geographical location. Apostle Suleiman fees migrants at Mexico-US border, donates 100,000 pesos. Senator Ebeyong hosts Thanksgiving with national leaders. Let's call a spade a spade. APC state woman, Dr. Mrs. Lillian Chinasa Abazue, weighs into Abia APC crisis. Guinness World Record. Obafemi Awolowo University student anytime surpasses 50 hours washathon. Security operatives neutralize 3 armed robbers in Enugu. 16 days of activism. WARDC urges federal government to show commitment towards implementation of VAP laws to curb causes of gender-based violence. NPHCDA staff partners eulogize ex-ED CEO Dr. Fisa. Technical Aid Corps, federal government received 23 volunteers. Edo IGR to reach 70 billion naira in 2024. Obaseki, why we diverted Abuja flights to Asaba, United Nigeria Airline. Minister moves to address gas scarcity, price hike challenges. Appeal court verdict. APC Northwest congratulates Governor Oba Sani Nasser Idris. Groups to NJC investigate Kanu, Plateau, Zamfara tribunal verdicts. Stop migrating. Stakeholders to Nigerian youths. Federal government targets 20% increase in yields of staple crops. Agric Minister. Foundation trains students on internet usage in Oshun. Bimon's rate of fraud, corruption in Nigeria. Police rescue kidnap traders in Benue. Arrest traditional ruler. 17 others for hostage taking. That's the much we can take from the Sun newspaper this morning. And from the Sun newspaper, we'll flip over to the Daily Post newspaper. Why Tinubu should review Rex appointment. Ex-INEC chair Jega. Cash scarcity resurfaces in Akwa Ibom amid December 31st deadline. President Tinubu to present 2024 budget to National Assembly Wednesday. Governor Borowore, Delta APC trade blames over 77 billion naira road projects. PDP berates sacked Labour Party lawmaker for protesting in Abia. Imo police arrest 18 IPOB, ESN suspects over killing of DPO inspector. Ondo plots to make Ayedatiwa acting governor thickens. Castena 2024 budget, water resources, education, top government's priority list. You are listening to newspaper headlines on Ebon at 103.5 FM. We will now go for a short break. When we get back, we'll continue on the stories making the headlines on the Daily Post newspaper this morning. Please stay with us.
Ogamaka Social Friends Club of Nigeria na Ogoku Maka the end of the year party / award ceremony 2023. Royal Father of the Day, His Royal Highness Igwe Chibike Ezeaganama Nketo Ezedioramma, one of Okuzu. Special guest of honor, Chief Tochukwu Paul Ezodo, Ozakupeme Kutego, one of Okuzu. Patron of the club, Chief Dr. Ogwejofo Udago Ezedibia Okuzu. Matron of the club, Mrs. Ali Ogechukwu. Chief Dr. Chedemma Aduaka Okoye, also Sinubi, one of Okuzu, aka Oriana Ofeke, Ochezo Onyegworoya, Honorable Uchenna Okapuzia.
Nabagoa Production. Police for vigilante. My business. When I will tell you HJ radio drama, there we go. Akụkọ ihe mere n'ime ogbe. Ejije radio drama Eriko Ganadaro every Monday 8 o'clock p.m.
with a repeat broadcast on Saturday 3 o'clock p.m.
Now, upon the 103.5 FM.
If you know I finish your business,
Amara ni rewa di amo. Robo kuna kana de na na ko na ne ri ko na ye. Nke ka di ku ke wona na ma mu ku na ye ma o le si.
Epokwana ka call dinka call.
a lot of people complain about not using their talents the way they want to. Utilize this opportunity today. Are you an aspiring actor, musician, dancer? Here is the opportunity you have been waiting for. Register with Babuwa Productions at Ebona the 103.5 FM today to make your God-given gift money-making venture using your God-given gift.
How best can we talk about the challenges we are having on our streets, our community, our society in general? Street report. If we do not address these challenges on Ebonade FM, who will? As the happenings around us get as complicated as they can be, Street report is here to make sense of it all. Street report is causing social change across your streets. In your community, Street report is here with hardcore journalism to get to the roots of our problem. Why don't you join me, Martin Ifanyu, as our number the first every Friday, 4:30 p.m. on Epona 103.5 FM as Street reports unfolds in your face. On Emas in Epona the corner 24/7, 24/7.
You're welcome back to Newspaper Headlines on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. Remember that you can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 080-96661035. You can as well join us on Facebook as we're live at Ebona, the 103.5 FM. Drop your comment on the comment section of the live video. You can equally stream us online via mixlr.com/gistfm. We are on to the Daily Post newspaper. Ondo plots to make Ayedatiwa acting governor thickens. Castena 2024 budget, water resources, education top government's priority list. Rivers Guba, appeal court fixes November 28 for judgment. Cross River needs increased military presence, Governor Utu. Federal government to install 3.23 billion naira explosive narcotic detection devices in 5 airports. Tinubu appoints new board management team for NMPCL. That's the much we can take from the Daily Post newspaper this morning. And from the Daily Post newspaper, we'll flip over to the Nation newspaper. Akeredolu Ayedatiwa peace agreement heads for collapse. National Assembly under pressure over 2024 budget. Tinubu orders massive fixing of federal roads. Chaibu, I'm intimidated. My allocation seized. Chaibu, I'm intimidated. My allocation seized. Supreme Court will get full 21 justices. Ariwola pledges. We did 19 kilometers of roads in 1 year, says Osun government. Federal Executive Council reviews budget's key indicators. Leadership crisis rocks CCB. Protests in Kanu over appeal court verdict. Appeal court affirms Aliyu's election as Sokoto governor. Still on the stories making the headlines on the Nation newspaper this morning. Safety concerns. Kiamo summons agencies' heads. 100 billion naira investment in basic education inadequate, says UBEC. Federal government's blueprint on digital switchover coming, says Minister. JEGA 2023 polls credible in many substantial aspects. Lagos to structure owners vacate drainage setbacks within 7 days. Ogun, Aviation Ministry, other stakeholders meet today on concessioning Gateway Agro Cargo Airport. Ekiti, monthly IGR hits 1 billion naira. Lagos Assembly confirms 3 ESCO nominees. Sanwo-Olu, Fashola, Bamidele, others for colloquium. Judges should emulate good peers, says Lagos State PDP. And that's the much we can take from the Nation newspaper this morning. And from the Nation newspaper, we'll flip over to this day newspaper. Ariwola, unnecessary cases overstretching judiciary. We need alternative dispute resolution mechanisms. Zenith Bank, French government signed memorandum of understanding to establish subsidiary in France. Umai Tinubu inherited 6 trillion naira debt on ongoing road projects. 45 children enrolled in Universal Basic Education Scheme, says Commission. Federal Executive Council approves 27.5 trillion naira appropriation bill for 2024. Mele Kari returns as NMPC's GCEO. Akiyelelu becomes new board chairman. Adelabu, federal government to adopt bottom-up off-grid strategy to revamp power sector. Abiodun Ogun receiving offers for concessioning agro cargo airport. Obaseki, work culture, digital capability of Edo workers yielding good results. Obaseki, work culture, digital capability of Edo workers yielding good results. Boosting food production. Transport fares soars 75% as petrol. Diesel prices rises 222%, 25% in 1 year. IEA, oil industry must cut emissions by 60% by 2030 to meet 1.5 C global warming scenario. Court adjourns $23 million loan suit between FEM and Dantata till December 6th. Federal government, Nigeria will continue to support West Africa gas pipeline project. Elan, leasing industry record 3.18 trillion naira transaction in 2022, grew by 23%. Belokoko, MPA, Nigerian Ports Authority Port Community System will help Nigeria harvest blue economy benefits. Petroleum tanker drivers sue for peace, says strike not necessary. Access Bank rewards over 100 customers in just region. PDP crisis. National Working Committee counters article supporters, insist party in safe hands. Amadu, Fentry, and the Northeast governors. As Adeleke dares NJC over Chief Justice removal. Army and its two-faced justice system. When appeal court drags judiciary into the abyss. Supreme Court integrity at stake. Brazen attack on Adamawa Police Headquarters. Arise budget for growth and expansion as Abians roll out drums for their illustrious son, Carlo. The essential article, a multifaceted approach to tackling illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, repositioning the EFCC for effectiveness, transparency in the anti-corruption war in Nigeria. In Anambra, non-appointment of Auditor General stores new retirees' pension. Glorious homecoming for homeboy. Security expert clamors for interagency synergy, disciplinary commission. Zenith Bank heralds Christmas, Yellowtide season with Ajose, Adogun, street light up. That's the much we can take from this day newspaper this morning. And from this day newspaper, we'll flip over to Nigerian Tribune. Onikoyi installs Tribune man as Olore of Ikoyi Ekiti. Federal government must take responsibility of 3-year-old Ororo oil well fire. Stakeholders, Federal Executive Council okays $1 billion AFDB budget support financing. Castina government budgets 454 billion naira for 2024. Kiari retains a CEO post as Tinubu reconstitutes NMPCL board management. Nigeria to seek election into Imo Council seat in 2025. Weight loss. I have done surgery if I wasn't scared. 10. Do justice on Enugu Guba case. Labour Party urges Supreme Court. Lagos Assembly confirms Sanwo-Olu's 3 new commissioners. Reps threaten action against NCAA over missing 43 billion naira revenue. Armed Forces Remembers Day. Sanwo-Olu donates 50 million naira to Nigerian Legion. Federal government launches 2023-2025 National Contingency Plan. 2023 Hajj. Last Nigerian pilgrim returns home. Late Iyalode Alaba Lawasen's funeral to omit drumming, dancing. Chairman reveals. That's the much we can take from the Nigerian Tribune this morning. That will also mark the conclusion of all that we have for you on this particular edition of Newspaper Headlines on Ebonade 103.5 FM. Will now flip over to our WhatsApp portal to bring your reactions. And from our WhatsApp portal this morning, we have this message that says, let me unequivocally say that poverty and unemployment in our dear country, Nigeria, emanate essentially from the character of the Nigerian state and the manner in which it emerged, among other factors, including corruption, bad and self-centered leadership, and the over-politicization of development issues. How I wish the Alhaji Asuwaju Bola Tinubu's administration will retrace its steps and fall in line for a better Nigeria of our dream. Comrade Manley Uduogo from Udumobosi, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have this message coming from Famous Christian, and he's joining us from Aguluzi Igbo. Thank you so much for joining us. We have a message. This one says, when Nnamdi Kanu was talking about Igbo traders in Lagos, that in no distant time, Yoruba would destroy their businesses and take over their houses, it looks like propaganda. Now it has started. Previously at Alaba, now at Festac. My question is, are we still Nigeria? If they are the two major ethnic, Yoruba and Hausa, okay, and have mutual interest, let Igbos, okay. Valentine Edene from Mumbo, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have this message. This one is coming from Chinedu Oneka, pastor, and he says a stakeholder telling Nigerian youth to stop migration to abroad. How many of his children are in Nigeria? If there are jobs available for Nigerian youths, they will never want to migrate. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have this message coming from Engineer Ibuka Joshua Dawson. He's joining us from 33 Onitsha. He says, Alaba market demolition. What is really happening to Ndibo at Lagos State? They have never learned. Drainage setbacks. Lagos issues 7-day ultimatum to owners of structures along Ikota River. This is a very big lesson to developers who think they can build anywhere and nothing would happen. From Engineer Joshua Ibuka Dawson from 33. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have a message. This one is coming from the boss from Okozu, and he says, Biden apologizes for Gaza killing. Who will now apologize for Israel Hamas intervention? I thank Israel for understanding more wisdom for Israel. Okay, he apologized for the comment he made about Gaza killings. And then he continued and says, the boss again stop migrating. My question is, what have they done to stop the migrating Nigeria are like sleeps in their country and make them stop killing Igbo youths in the name of Biafra? IPOB, enough is enough. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have this message. This one is coming from Maloto Patrick from Nteja, and he says, I am worried over the federal government's proposal of 27.5 trillion naira as 2024 budget. I am worried in the sense that I am yet to see any plan put in place by the federal government to differentiate the current budget proposal from the previous ones, which has become an annual ritual. Again, I learned that Tinubu has reappointed Kyari as the CEO of NMPC. What it means is that in the eyes of Tinubu, Kyari performed creditably during his first tenure as the NMPC boss, but I think that decision would have been left for Nigerians to make. At any rate, I will be happy if Kyari will ensure that all Nigerian refineries become operational by December 2023, as promised by Tinubu. This is coming from Waloto Patrick from Monteja. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have this message. It's coming from young grandma from Udumobosi. And she says, I thought we are one Nigeria. Then why demolition one? Okay, this is a trade. May God help us in this country. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have this message. This one is coming from Chike Obata from Obinetiti Okozo. Okay, thank you so much, my brother. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have a message. This one is coming from Macbeth Ogene Tega from Asaba, and he says, those gunmen that kills a police officer at Imo State should face the book. Okay, thank you so much for joining us. We have a message. This one is coming from Christian Upondo from Onitsha, and he says, Imo police arrest 18 IPOB over killing of inspector of police. The arrest of the suspected IPOB members is one of the things that made me to look down on how Nigerian policemen work. Police is arresting people that might not be responsible for the death of their counterpart and tag them IPOB members, which means that they were there watching the killing going on. Okay, and this is that is why they are able to tell who committed the crime. If what happened that day were there, what did they do? Or does it mean that they were afraid of the gunmen? They were okay. Anyway, thank you so much. One might not be in a crime scene, but investigate it and then get to know who did that. But thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have a message. This one is coming from Juma from Unkole's Naka GRA, and he says the 31-year-old man, church worker, who gave his name as James Rich for impregnating a 14-year-old girl should be sentenced to life imprisonment without parole. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have a message. This one is coming from Obiora from Okozu, and he says civil society organization said attacks on INEC and judiciary undemocratic. My question to the so-called civil society organization, so it is right and democratic for INEC to intimidate people with police and army to steal their mandate and order them to go to court, and is also right and democratic for judiciary to give false verdict to support the corruption of INEC and their sponsors. The 2023 election credible in some aspect, please, can Jega come out and tell Nigerians where 2023 elections are credible? To me, if I were Jega, I will apologize to Nigerians because this problem of INEC rigging started from him. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Let's see if we can get you more reactions from our SMS portal. From our SMS portal this morning, we have a message that says, Free Mazen and the Kano, Mr. Tinubu, you owe the Igbo race that gesture. Iweka Ifan is the one saying this, and he continued and says, on my then, our politicians should be held accountable. okay, he's talking about economy. Then our politicians should be held accountable. Political party is a disease that is worse than AIDS. And if we as the electorates don't stand, okay, your message is not complete, but thank you so much for joining us this morning. And still on our SMS portal, we have this message that is coming from Chukwudi Okoye from Umuatuolu, Umueri. And he says, okay, Umueri, okay, Bo City. Okay, thank you so much, my brother, for joining us this morning. Now, let's see if we can get you more reactions. We got a message from Wingate Ikechukwu, and he says your Eze at 75, and your message is not complete. But thank you so much for joining us this morning from Okozo. Still on our SMS portal, we have this message that is coming from Iweka Ifanye from Ikengo Gidi, and he says, if there is anarchy in Kanu, our judicial system should be held responsible. And if inflation kills Nigerian economy, then our politicians should be held accountable. Political party is a disease that is worse than AIDS. And if we, as the electorate, don't stand, okay, still not complete. But thank you so much for joining us this morning, Iweka Ifanye. Now we have this message coming from Honorable Onyedika Osakwe, and he says, the Kano political crisis is what is supposed to take place in Imo State, where there is mother of democracy, but Imo citizens resorts on of Igbos cannot stop in this nation, where juicy and vital positions is only for the North and West. We are not to be told that we are an underdog. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We now flip over to our WhatsApp portal to bring you more reactions. And this morning on our WhatsApp portal, we have this message that is coming from Ndubisi Okafor from Umueze Umunachi. And he says, reps begin 183.9 billion naira COVID-19 fund management fund. This is the kind of news we heard in Nigeria. Palliatives from federal government to states to alleviate suffering as a result of fuel subsidy removal. All the money recovered from misappropriation and embezzlement. Where are these money? Channel 2. Our problem is corruption. Ndubisi Okafor from Umueze Umunashi, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now, on our SMS portal, we have a message. This one says, kudos to Governor Soludo for naming Anambra Airport after late Professor Chinua Achebe. This is coming from Asiwaju of Igbo land from Okozo. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have this message. This one is coming from, okay, this one said the recent increment of the price of liquid gas, okay, liquid cooking gas is in the country is very worrisome. And it says, kudos to Governor Soludo for honoring and celebrating Prince Ato Eze at 75. Okay. This is coming from Wingate Ikechukwu Nwakeze from Okozo. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have this message. It is coming from Honorable Onyedika Osakwe, and he says, okay, this is the continuation of his message, but okay, we've gotten this before, but thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have this message from Iweka Ifanye from Ikenga Ogidi. He says, if there is anarchy in Kanu, we've taken this, but let's see if there is. He said, political party is a disease that is worse than AIDS, and if we, as the electorate, don't stand and say no to wickedness of some of them, we will never have a Nigeria of our dream, where our children's future will be protected. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And this is the spot where we call it a day on this particular edition of Newspaper Headlines on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. Remember, it comes your way weekdays in the morning. Once is 7 o'clock. But don't touch the dial of Ebona, the 103.5 FM. Once is 8:20, we'll be back with Birthday Splash. Until we meet again, I'm Martin. Have a wonderful morning.
Mbe, mgbe maka this boy a na-agba enyi. That guy na-enye nsogbu.
Ebona, the 103.5 FM. Nabakoa production. Police for vigilante. Not my business. When I was ever get HJ radio drama, there we go. HJ radio drama, Eriko, Ghana Dialogue every Monday, 8 o'clock p.m. with a repeat broadcast on Saturday, 3 o'clock p.m. Now, Ebona, the 103.5 FM.
If you move and finish your business,
Amara ni ile wadi la amu. Kwa kuna kanero na na kona ya neri kona ya. Nke kazi kukia wana ana mamuzi kuna ya maulezi.
A lot of people complain about not using their talents the way they want to. Utilize this opportunity today. Are you an aspiring actor, musician, dancer? Here is the opportunity you have been waiting for. Register with Babuwa Production at Ebona, the 103.5 FM today to make your God-given gift money-making venture using your God-given gift today. For more information, call 080-3916-7049. Don't miss out on this opportunity.
How best can we talk about the challenges we are having on our streets, our community, our society in general? Street report. If we do not address these challenges on Ebona Day FM, who will? As the happenings around us get as complicated as they can be, Street Report is here to make sense of it all. Street Report is causing social change across your streets. In your community, Street Report is here with hardcore journalism to get to the roots of our problem. Why don't you join me, Martin, if I should as number the force every Friday, 4:30 p.m. on Ebona 103.5 FM as Street Reports unfolds in your face. On Emas Ebona the corner 24/7, 24/7.
Biko nwanne m bekene ka m jụọ gị kedu ebe m ga-enweta ezigbo MC maka mmemme a na-akwado?
Ị ka ma ajụ kpọọ Shaka Shaka, the latest MC in town, ka occasion gị anwa bụrụ ịkwa. Ị na-achọ ezigbo MC maọbụ DJ na agbamakwụkwọ go, agbamnkwụ go, child dedication go, imepe ụlọ